Okay, guys, let's get into this. I hope you're ready because this is a pretty hard to watch, pretty hard to make, pretty hard to edit video for me. Because this involves me crying live on camera, and I didn't ever even intend to publish this. Okay, but the reason behind this and the story is that I cured my morning grumpiness forever, or at least for the 2 years that passed since I recorded this footage. So I will say confidently that this worked, okay? And this is a demonstration of how you can, when you find an overreaction or like something in your behavior where it seems a little bit off, and you know how to pinpoint it and you know how to apply shadow work correctly, you can really just fix it. Like you can improve your life in this radical way. So what I'm going to show you here and what I'm going to talk about is basically the story behind it, and then I'm going to walk through the footage and sort of like comment on like how it works and what you're seeing. Um, I've got lots of other videos in my how to do self therapy course playlist on YouTube, which is like this video is a part of, and find it if you're interested in trying this. So the backstory is basically I was so grumpy that in the morning that my girlfriend was literally scared of like waking me up. So that was not like I'm groggy, I don't want to wake up, I don't want to get out of bed, I wish the alarm wouldn't ring. This is really I could bite her head off. I could bite her head off if she would wake me and she would go up to me and say like, "Hey Eric, it's time to wake up." And I would just either like forcefully pull the blanket over me and be like really angry kind of that she was even trying to wake me up even though we have to go, or I would actually get up but then I would resent her for the rest of the morning and I would be super hard to live with and just like, yeah, how do you say this nicely, just a person who was hard to live with. I would just really be so cranky that it became suspicious. And that's the key to improving your life with shadow work is you find things that you emotionally react to that are a little bit suspicious. It seems a little bit too much. So what we decided to do, knowing about these techniques and like having studied this, we decided to try to apply it to this. Like, would I be less cranky in the morning? Would you not have to wear protective gear to wake me up if we did this technique? And so we tried it and we recorded the session. And I've never really shown this to anyone, but I guess you're lucky or unlucky. Depends on how you view it. This could be traumatizing, like definitely trigger warning and stuff. So what we did was we went through a sequence that I had printed out, or like Maria printed it out, but I wrote it beforehand. And that sequence sort of like takes you through like exploring what would happen in the present, and then like what's the feeling behind it, and then getting into the deeper layers of why that feeling is even there, why that emotional overreaction is even there, and then feeling that deeply. And when you feel that deeply, you go through a grief process. And when you're finished going through the grief process, then the underlying feeling is not there anymore. Therefore, the emotional overreaction is not there anymore. So we did the session, we recorded it, and I've never been grumpy in the morning again. And this time, I'm not joking. I know I like to joke. I know I like to say things that sound ridiculous. This sounds ridiculous, and it's true. Have I had trouble to wake up? Yes. Have I had, have I snoozed? Yes. Have I been like, oh, I wish wouldn't have to get up, I guess? Yes. But have I been actually cranky or actually angry that someone would wake me up? No, never again. Since that one session that we did. Actually, we did two sessions. We had footage from both sessions, and maybe I'll record both, or maybe I'll make a video about both. Like, let's see how this one goes. So to apply the shadow work, we printed out the script beforehand so that she could basically take me through it, while I only had to focus on the feelings, on like processing it, doing it. And this is like a very good way to do it. I recommend it. I'm going to link the script that we used. You can download it from my website. I'm going to link it in the description. And if I remember, otherwise remind me. And yeah, she took me through the steps, and I only had to like focus on the feelings and let them just process through me, because this is something like, if you find something that's actually there, it's been there for a long time, it's just been waiting to come to the surface and finally be felt. Okay, that's kind of the gist of shadow work. So um, let's get into the footage, and I'll just tell you the story of how that went while we watch it. So this is the first part. So yeah, the first step is notice when it happens, like what the thing is that you want to focus on, and what, like how you react, what's the emotional overreaction. So in this case, it was like, when someone wakes me up, I hate them and am angry at them for several hours. And then instead of externalizing that feeling in the present by acting it out, like being angry at my girlfriend, instead you turn inwards and you start feeling that and feeling that, and then using, in this case, we used some breath work to like help me get centered, get deeper into the feeling, which you can do. Which you'll see me put my one hand on my chest and the other hand on my belly. That's because in this breathing technique, you make sure that both of those points move at the same time. So they both move, and you don't have a pause between the out breath and the in breath, and you don't have a pause between the in breath and the out breath. Okay, so you just see, up, down, up, down. Doesn't have to be fast, just remove the pauses and make sure that both the chest and the belly are moving. That's the breathing technique that you'll see me do as I focus on the anger, on the feeling. And as I focus on it, I'm kind of like asking myself, where have I felt this before? Is it familiar? And then what tends to happen is, if you do that long enough, your mind, your subconscious starts to give you hints or even like full scenes of where this feeling originates that's still bothering you in the present. And in this case, we hit the jackpot. I'll just play this footage a bit. Yeah, so I'm just breathing, doing the breathing to focus on the feeling, like still in the bed where she tried to get me out of that morning.
Sensations might bubble up in your body and get really loud. Follow it.
Yeah. And basically beneath those beneath that like feeling of I'm angry at her for trying to wake me up, there's like other things, right? And so you're waiting for the sensations and the feelings that are behind that to come up to consciousness as you're turning inwards. Yeah. So you're just following whatever comes up in the form of sensations, feelings, little images that you might have.
You may have a memory popping up. You may have a figure presenting itself to you. For example, an inner child asking for help by showing up.
So you might have an inner child or some sort of figure presenting itself to you that like is like the clue to what is there to be healed. I personally, like for me, that doesn't really see. The mind symbolizes things in different ways. For some people, they sort of get like these wild, wildly creative images or scenes or like objects that are being built in their mind's eye. They see this with their eyes closed, and then every piece of the visual that they get is like a clue, right? And you have to figure out those clues. Other people, they get um, literally their inner child, like their younger self, walks up to them in their mind and is like showing them, like pointing, like here's my pain, or this is what I'm struggling with, or here's where I'm still stuck, and that can happen. Um, yeah, or you could just have like direct flashbacks, which I think is what mostly happens for me. I think that's what happens this time, that I knew sort of like what age I was when I felt this pain. I knew what was going on, and then you'll see me start to move into expression, from which is the next stage. Is like feel the feeling in the context of where you originally felt it. So as soon as I know this is about me being like 14 or so, and this is about me having to go to school, even though I know I'm going to be bullied there. So I know this massive, like painful experience is waiting for me in the morning, and yet my dad is waking me up in this like really gentle way. And now I've made the connection of like that's what it reminded me of. Is like my girlfriend is waking me up gently as I'm like 28 years old, but now I'm still reacting as if I'm 14 and my dad is waking me up gently to go to school and basically be bullied, threatened, picked on, have pain because I'm nobody likes me or something like that. Like, um, yeah, and now I've made the connection, but now like those old feelings are coming up, and what I do to get rid of them is I actually express them as if I were there in that moment in the past. So you will see me expressing those feelings as if I were a 14-year-old child. Yeah. I can see it. Nobody likes it. Yeah, so in this case, I do say like, yeah, I see my younger self. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes to be his friend. Like that was my troubles at the time. Yeah. Nobody wants to be his friend.
Go into it and use breath to soften the body. Float in the middle of the sensations. Let it unfold.
Why do I have to go? Yeah, so why do I have to go? So when you do this, it's really important to express the feeling in the context of the original, like of the old scene, and then express it like as simple as possible. One thing that I often have to work with people around is like when they try to express it in adult words with like very complicated concepts. If you find yourself saying, I felt quite a bit of resistance to leaving to attend my education that day. I do not understand why I feel this resistance to attending my education this day. This is not you expressing your feeling. This is like a defense mechanism. It's like, I'm not sure what even to call this defense mechanism, but it's like over intellectualization, I think I would call it. And it happens a lot, and like catch yourself when you're doing that, because it means you're using the big words to not connect to the smaller child feelings, right? Because as that younger self, you wouldn't have used those words. So use the words that you, as the younger self, would have used. You will feel it more. Feeling leads to, fixing. So do it. understand why I have to do this. They're just gonna be mean to me all over again. Okay, next clip. I'm in primary school, I have to get on my bike and I have to cycle through the school, and I know that everybody's just gonna ignore me and hate me and be mean, and I don't know why I can't just be a normal kid. So I'm mumbling something about I know that I have to get on my bike again. I'm gonna cycle through school where everybody hates me and ignores me or things like that. And so I'm doing that because I'm literally seeing these flashbacks like in my mind's eye, right? So I have a blindfold on and probably have my eyes closed. But as I'm feeling this, I'm also like my mind's presenting me with all these flashbacks, and I know like I see my bicycle, I see the road that I went to school with, and I know like the dread that I felt every morning when my dad was going to wake me up and and like, hey, it's time to go to school again. And apparently that's the dread that I always felt like. Yeah. I'm going to school and I'm dreading every moment of it, and they call me mean things, and I don't know why I have to go. But I was I don't want to make it this way. So emotional expression is crucial, okay? Crucial. It's crucial. Do it. If you're giving this shadow work thing a serious go, it has to be real though. The thing is, like, this is painful to watch because it's real. And I can also fake it, and then it's just somebody screaming, you know? And that does nothing. Literally nothing. It's not therapeutic to just make noise with your voice when you don't have a deep connection to like something inner that needs to be healed. Like if you're just screaming, if you're just like pretending to cry or anything feels fake, just stop it, because you don't need to be loud. You don't need to even be like this. I'm only like doing this kind of expression like because it actually feels authentic and I'm just going with the flow. So it has to be authentic, otherwise don't do it. Yeah, see, you can't fake that. At this moment, I'm grieving things that I wasn't able to grieve when I was 14. And the reason that I wasn't able to grieve that because I didn't feel like I could talk about my emotional troubles with my parents, and that's how you get childhood trauma. That's not my parents' fault, but that's how I felt at the time. Like these feelings could go nowhere, and now here they are, still making me cranky in the morning. Nobody likes me.
Nobody likes me.
Nobody likes me. See, and now I'm like I'm feeling the pain of that, right? And that's why I'm crying, ugly crying, which is very important because the tears release the trauma. So you have to have the tears, and so I'm having tears that I should have had 14 years ago. Um, yeah. Besides, you'll see me sometimes like do this on like a pillow when you feel something that could be anger or some sort of frustration, and like it's real, it's connected to something old. Then it's helpful to have like a pillow or a mattress that you can like hit, but always be safe. Like never do it with your fists. Never hit someone, or make sure that you have something that you can do that with. Like, at retreats we do it with like a um, foam bat on like a pillow. So like you can't hurt anyone who might be standing there. You can't hurt yourself. But just the movement, like getting into the movement that fits with the feeling, is really powerful. So just making your body congruent with what you're feeling in like sound, what you say, and what you do with your body. Um, that's the way to do it. Yeah. And another very powerful thing, by the way, is like asking why. Because oftentimes when you get into like something something childhood related, um, like some childhood trauma also usually has an unanswered why question. So why? You can express that as like being a child and imagining yourself in that position. Ask why. Why is this happening to me? Why is daddy leaving? Why is mommy crying? Why don't they like me? Why do I have to go to school in this case, right? So why? Really powerful one.
Then I don't understand why my parents have me just made me go. Why can't I just stay in bed? Why can't I just stay asleep? Why can't I just stay at home? I don't know. I know it's a good thing. Everybody just hates me. Whatever I do, maybe if I'm enthusiastic or silent, I just. Why would they send me to that place?
So I'm expressing things that, of course, like I don't feel today, but I felt 14, like now 16 years ago, right? And the thing is, like, I don't remember feeling those things because that's the thing about trauma. It's like a feeling that couldn't be integrated. So it's kind of like you're feeling it for the first time because you didn't feel it at the time. At the time, I was just angry. At the time, I had the same reaction to, like, I was like biting my father's hand when he would wake me up, and feeling stressed when going to school. But like these feelings of why I don't understand why they make me go to this terrible place where they mistreat me. I didn't have those feelings then either. I couldn't. There was no space for them, which is why it became a traumatic thing.
Why did this have to be place? And nobody liked me. Everything I did was wrong. I couldn't find friends.
All right, next clip. Yeah, so by this point, I'm just feeling it all the way through, and that's the key. That's what you do is you just feel it all the way through um, until it's done, and it usually only takes 2 hours max. Yeah, not always though. That's when you get an easy one. This was an easy one. It pointed to a specific memory. I could isolate it. I could process it. I could feel it. It took 2 hours. Done. It's not always that easy. Sometimes you gotta go back to the same topic for like time after time after time. So yeah, it really depends. It really depends. But anytime you do this, you will feel like something really shifted.
Should always love.
So that's not uncommon either, to have some like coughing and spitting when you touch upon something old and you're purging that feeling. It's not uncommon to have like a gagging reflex or like spitting. So yeah, better have like a purge bucket or.
Okay, what's the next step?
Yeah, here I'm just asking her like, what is the next step? Just read me the next step.
The part keeps showing you what hurts the most. And where the pain really lies. You help this part finally process these feelings that were just too big for that smaller part to handle.
By the way, guys, I'm like ugly crying and you know being like snotty and you know disgusting in different ways next to my girlfriend, which is like would be probably the biggest barrier for someone to actually try this out, even if they had like a strong motivation to like fix something in your life, like emotionally. Is like, how do you feel vulnerable or like feel safe to be this vulnerable to next to someone, right? Like, do you even feel safe next to your partner to just cry about something in your daily life, let alone cry about something from the past, like ugly cry about it, like actually express it? Like, can you do that with your partner? Can you be that vulnerable? If not, you're missing out. But like, I understand this is difficult, and I'm very lucky to have her, because I feel very safe with her and she's doing a good job of like holding space for me in this case. And she knows all about this too, this process, and you know she used to do this too. So like I'm very lucky to be in this position. But like any person who might not have a sense of like I could do that with my partner, or I don't have a partner. So you have two options. Either you have a partner but you struggle to be like vulnerable, or you struggle to feel safe to express yourself with people. I recommend that you join or like apply to join my group, my online personal development group, because we practice that every other week. Sorry, we practice that every other week. We have a small intimate circle of dedicated people who are serious about personal development, and we express our feelings to each other as a practice. And it really helps to just be more vulnerable and authentic to people in your life in general. It's been anecdotally proven. Okay, people have reported this back to me, like, since I've joined your group, it has helped me in my relationship with my friends. I'm being more honest, I'm being more authentic, I can express myself more easily, I'm being more vulnerable, and they just feel better in their relationships. So you'll find the link if you click on my channel, or in the description. Maybe I'll post it in the description. If you're interested in that, articulation, then that might be an option for you. If you don't have a partner, then I also have videos for you where I read you a script that may work in the same way. And I'll also link that video, or you can find it in the playlist of self-healing course, free course on my channel. And you can use that video to sort of like play it back to you, and so you can focus on the session and like just kind of pause the video when you're doing a step and then like play it again. And that also works for people. Okay, so that's like the way to do it without people, but of course it's better to have people to do it with, because just like the presence of a real person helps like bring out the feelings. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't understand why you have to go to me.
Next clip.
Give it that.
So she says, give it that, and she's reading like the next step of this integration script. So that step is, it's like involving like giving your like inner child what it needed to have, which it didn't get. And so I'm visualizing myself having friends that it can be himself with, playing in a forest, something. Important point that I keep making, and it's very important that you get this, is like, you're not mind fucking yourself into having a better childhood, right? This is not convincing your subconscious mind that actually things went way better for you. No, you're just helping your brain realize what it was missing and really getting that grief going by thinking of what I would have wanted to have. Okay? Distinction there. Do you get that? Don't have like a, because there's so many like personal development teachers that say like, oh yeah, just give yourself the childhood that you would have wanted to have. No, doesn't work. Doesn't work. It's fake. You're mind fucking yourself, and it's gonna, it's gonna stab you in the back, bite you in the ass at some point if you try to live a fake life by mind fucking yourself. That all those memories, that you try to change them through hypnosis. No. But there is some value to imagining what you would have liked to have, so that more grief comes up of like, yeah, that's what I really would have wanted, and you feel it even deeper, that sadness that wasn't there, that sadness is what you would need to feel. That's why I'm doing this, just to be clear.
I can see him making friends and being in the forest. It's role-playing things that he likes.
Play it out in your imagination and feel and see how the unhealed part reacts to you being there and taking care of its needs.
I'm carrying him from his bed to a different school. And people like him, and people understand him, and people appreciate his mind. People appreciate his mind and his thoughts. And he's just sitting in a circle with people in the woods, and he's making up stories and playing them out, and everybody likes it.
And then the representation of that stuck pain, like the child part, the inner child, it can actually go to a place where it wants to be, because it's now free. So that's the thing, like you can have your inner child or your part or your whatever representative of what was stuck. You can have it go to a place that it wants to go to, where it can play, or like some kind of magical fantasy land like this. This is also something they do in IFS, internal family systems, is when the part that represents the pain that you're stuck with like gets freed from the pain. In this case, we're freeing it from the pain by directly feeling it. Then the part can like symbolically go play somewhere, and that's valid.
And he doesn't have to do games he doesn't like, and he's not getting called names, and it's just peaceful. And his natural gifts are just appreciated, and he just wants to go there. He doesn't even does want to have friends. He likes it.
Okay, that's it for this one. So, hope you enjoyed that. Like this video if you thought this was helpful. Send it to a friend if you think they would be interested. Like seriously, I don't spam my videos to any friends anymore, so you're gonna have to do it for me, okay? And subscribe. Thank you.